Rejoice, everyone. Yesterday was a great day for gaming and a great victory for consumers. Or was it? Did Microsoft make the right choice yesterday by removing the Xbox One DRM? Find out. Guys, my name's Noah and welcome to Questioning Gaming. So yesterday, Microsoft did a complete 180 on the Xbox One. They completely removed the DRM and the online connectivity problems that had plagued the internet for days and weeks on months and all that crap that the internet, they love to over drought. Sony came out during E3 and had that awesome moment and everyone rejoiced and everyone went crazy and they released that funny video of how to sell and trade games step by step on the PlayStation 4. And then everyone went on Twitter and did hashtag Xbox done and all this other crap. And then yesterday, they just decided to turn around. In my E3 prediction video for Microsoft, I said Microsoft needs to come out and bash the policies and just destroy them and say that they're fake and everything, even though they had already come out on their FAQ and described how everything worked. But then they decided to wait a week, which is really confusing to me, but at the same time it makes perfect sense. So did Microsoft make the right choice? Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that they're winning back their consumer base bit by bit. They're helping strive the economic goals of companies such as GameStop, and they're helping the consumer because not everyone is as loaded as Microsoft presumes they are. Today and in these coming days is very tough economic times. So Microsoft really needed to realize that not everyone can afford everything that they want. Now, yes, they are sticking with $4.99, which isn't that big of a problem, but they are helping the consumers out by not requiring internet, by not requiring all this other stuff. But they are requiring Connect still, so that's a big problem. Now, the no aspect is kind of like this. It was a small step for consumers and a giant leap backwards for the industry. Microsoft had the right idea with DRM in a sense, like not digital rights management per se. Like DRM is very stupid. It's very wrong. It's not how it should be, but the licensing factor, they're very right. Steam is very successful with how it's done. If you just look at what Valve and Steam has done, you can see that licensing isn't that big of a deal. PC gamers don't really complain about it. Where people do complain is the online factor. I don't understand where people keep getting this idea that you need to be connected online to go into offline mode. You only need to be connected online once to set up your account on Steam. And the same goes for the Xbox One. You need to be connected once, then you can do whatever you want. And once that one time is up, everything's happy dandy. But the problem arises in the fact that they're stepping back and they're not taking control of things. Yes, the consumers are right here in the sense that this is just blasphemy. Right now is not the right time for it. But at the same time, Microsoft was very right in their ideas because the idea behind licensing is the future, like I just said. Microsoft wanted consumers to get used to the idea of digital rights. People don't really like discs that much. I mean, people really like discs that much, but at the same time, discs are becoming such a big hassle. They're driving the cost up of things. They're making manufacturing such a big problem. That's why Microsoft really upped their server count, is because they're still wanting to really strive forward for that day one digital. Sony's been doing that for a while, and PC gaming is all digital. You install the disc once and you never need it again. Everything's just digital in the sense, and you just download things. So they're trying to get, the idea of faster internet out there, but right now is not the right time. This thing was like on live. On live was way ahead of its time. It was so ahead of its time, in fact, they made themselves go bankrupt because they were relying too heavily on the fact that consumers needed really high internet speeds. I was playing on 5 megabytes, not megabits, megabytes per second servers, and it was still laggy. They required too much of an internet to be used, and that's kind of where Sony's going with it. That's why I think it's smart that they're not releasing Gaikai right now, they're releasing it later, so they give people more time to really up their internet. But Microsoft was trying to shove it down your throats right now. They were trying to say, okay, listen, this is the future. You better get on the bandwagon or not. They weren't really thinking for others. They were thinking more for themselves. And that's where the problem really started to arise. But at the same time, that's where the solution was also arising. Microsoft made a good point in saying that, if you don't like how it is, just go back to the Xbox 360. We're supporting it for 7 more years. And that's true. If you don't like how it is, just go back to whatever it was. Go back to something else. And then, they just decided to take that 180. Where I see the problem is they're getting rid of these features. They're getting rid of all these things. They're making it so it's not as visible to the people. Adam Sessler keeps saying, don't pre-order consoles, don't do all this stuff, because he's saying they're not giving the full picture. And it's not just pre-orders. It's right now in general. Microsoft and Sony both are not giving the full picture. Sony just lets stuff go under the table, like the PlayStation Plus. They let stuff go under the table, like the fact that publishers still have the choice to decide. Microsoft, on the other hand, at least had the balls to go forward with everything, but now they still kind of are doing things under the table in the sense that they could revert back, or they could just be hiding these features underneath. Like with Kinect, for instance, is still there, but at the same time they have all these cloud management and all these other things. Everything's still server side. So they're hiding something. And that's where a major problem really arises, is the fact that, yeah, they did what people want to hear, but at the same time it's like a politician. That's all they did. They did what you want to hear. So people need to realize that there's still something there that they're missing. Until they come completely outright with everything they say, I'm not going to pick a side. But right now, Sony at least has the help of developers. Microsoft at least has the guts to realize that they were wrong. It's very hard to suck up your pride. It is very hard to do that. And I completely give my props to them for going back and doing what the consumers thought was right, but at the same time, I think they should have pulled a Ron Paul and stuck with what they believed was right. Ron Paul always, or has never really gone away with what he says. He sticks with what he believes, and regardless of whether people bash him or not, what he thinks is right, he thinks is right. He's never going to redirect something, and that's how Microsoft should have been. They should not have gone back to how it was, because they're showing weakness in a sense. They're letting the consumer drive their company now. So the question really was, did they make the right choice? Well, like I said, it was yes and no. Yes for the consumer, yes for the economy, but no because they're leaving the future. They're leaving their own self open to weaknesses and things like that. What are people going to want to do next? What are people going to want next? Like someone said in the comments, it's almost like, or not the comments, someone made a comment saying, it's almost like it's just new hardware in the same old box, pretty much. And that makes perfect sense. They haven't changed anything. They're not doing anything to really make these consoles and this generation stick out. They're just putting new hardware in the same old box and tying their shoes and going on with the walk. Microsoft should have stuck with what they did. They had some phenomenal feature ideas, such as the family package, but at the same time, right now is not the right time. So thanks for watching, guys. If you agreed with this, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments or anything else underneath, just post a comment. And guys, I know this is really hard for me, like right now. I know what I'm saying is very confusing, but I'm doing this without script, so if you have questions, I'll write out a script and do it. If you really want me to have a posted blog or something, tell me about that, and I will actually write out fully blown papers. It's hard for me to speak my mind and think in the future while I'm doing these live-ish commentaries. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.